Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello, Matrix Money Tuesday.
How's it going? I
Not too
suppose
bad.
I should probably get up our disclaimer. There it goes. Now we're official. We got we
We
got the
definitely need that,
disclaimer across the bottom.
especially today. CCM, how you
Um,
doing?
not too bad. Not too bad.
Had a
Busy
big,
as always. I mean, there's no rest for the weary. You know what I mean?
well, you
How
had a
about
big
yourself?
Friday, right?
Well,
100 episodes on crypto on the
oh,
rock.
that was great. It was I had a great time. I was so glad to see everybody stopping by, all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was really good. It was really
that's
good.
great.
And as a matter of fact, our guest today was there helping me out in the background. Thank goodness, because I'll tell you what, there was a lot of peeps, so that would have been a nightmare. Trying to do it by yourself is just
Oh, it's a nightmare.
yeah,
We
no
definitely
bueno,
know.
man, no bueno.
No bueno. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff from you, Jar, with regard to like this Solana Seeker. Uh,
Oh, yeah, I'm having some fun with that. It's driving me through a wall. I feel like it's starting to get a little bit deceptive. That's really what it is. I've been trying to hold back, but I don't think there's any point to it because a lot of people, the sentiment, at least on X, seems to be roughly the same thing. A lot of people are pissed off, so
there you go.
might as well just say it, right?
I agree. So what do you
Yeah,
think? Let's bring our guest up here and
we
he can
do.
chat with us.
Let's bring him on.
All right, here he is, the man, the
Welcome,
myth, the
welcome.
legend. Welcome. Appreciate you being here, BC.
It's a pleasure to be here. Uh, I was quite happy that you had asked for me to come on because normally I'm in the chats, I'm like
Yes.
driving home
Yes,
from
that's
work,
true.
trying to like chat in there. But as always, it's a pleasure to join you on a show. And it's a little bit nice to talk about things on a more technical level than a drunk level, like what we do on Friday.
What are you saying, BC? What's the problem?
No alcohol today, is that?
Ah.
So,
say
can you give us a little bit of a background about maybe you, your channel, and what you're into?
Yeah, so I'm in several spots here on YouTube. I've got 3 different channels that I'm on. I'm on Piper Academy every single morning. I do more of a macro show. We take a look at Bitcoin, a few stocks, stuff like that. Also go over some news. I've got a weekly show that I do on my channel called Wall Street Weekly, mainly just focusing on the TradFi side because in the past year, traditional markets have been doing it way better than your altcoin market normally
Yeah.
does during a crypto cycle.
Right.
So I transitioned very quickly back into my stocks and have just been making money in the meantime over there. And
Good
then
stuff.
I've got a weekend show that I do as well every Saturday at 2 p.m. Me and LBC have a show called Counter This, where we talk about the more social issues that kind of we see in society. We might handle a few things that are like a little bit politically based, but mostly on the side of what can we as the citizens in our country do to kind of fix some of the issues that we see. So
Mm-hmm. That conversation sounds endless. There's always and I believe we have all the links for your channel in the description for anyone that's interested in checking that out.
Yes.
Good stuff. Well, welcome. We're really happy to have you on. We have a few things to discuss today.
Oh yeah, might have to put a little bit of a tinfoil hat on at the end.
I don't mind. I don't mind it at all. I was gonna actually make one for today, but maybe the next time.
I thought about it too. Since the thumbnail has me with a tinfoil hat on, and I just never got around to it.
Hey, listen, I appreciate the fact that you made that special for us. I'm just saying. And it was CryptoJar's tinfoil hat theories that spawned this entire episode. So.
I'm always looking in between the lines for a lot of things. So yeah, you'll catch me there quite often.
I mean, sometimes you really have to. It's like you hear the news say one thing over here and one thing over here, and you can almost quite draw a line from this point to this point by like looking at what else is happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, like one thing I think that's missing, at least often I'm noticing it missing more and more is critical thinking, and people questioning whatever they're reading. It doesn't matter what they're reading, but just questioning it, because everything's so headline driven, and they're just spitting out the exact same thing. Everyone is repeating the exact same lines, and they're all on the same page, but there's no critical thinking or looking at it from a different perspective. So it leads into the conspiracy theory conversation often. At least people will label it that way. But really, I just want to see the other side and see where it actually comes from. So that's where my curiosity comes from.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing to think critically, heaven forbid. You know what I mean?
Heaven forbid, exactly.
Heaven forbid.
It's really sad that they label like thinking critically or questioning things as a conspiracy.
Yep.
When it's just like, hey, the story that you told me doesn't exactly sound like the full truth. And if you had just told me the full truth, I wouldn't be asking these questions right now.
Yeah. It's very dismissive. That's the way I see it. So, and it's not helpful. CCM, I think the chat's getting lit up right now.
I know, right? It's on fire right now. I appreciate that. We should probably go at least say hey to everybody, right?
Yeah.
Now, Lad's here, and before Lad even got here, before I got here, Mr. C had stopped in, and he dropped all the CCM emojis on my channel, so I appreciate that. Like, he just dropped them all in there. I can't bring them up right now for whatever reason. It won't let me. K Diggity is in the house. Appreciate you being here, K Diggity. Adam Simpson, appreciate you. Let's see. Damn it, Dave. I got to shout out again. Damn it, Dave.
Yes, sir.
After last week, he reached out after the last podcast, Matrix Money podcast, and reached out to Jar and said he wanted to help out with Friday night's giveaways. And thanks to him, we gave away a Rover device. So
beautiful.
That was really, really good. So thank you to Damn It Dave for that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Very nice. Beautiful down here in Las Vegas, highs in the 70s. Well, yeah, ain't that way up here right now. Jar, you must be cold. What's your highs been right now?
Look, we go by Celsius, so
that's true.
It's about 10 degrees Celsius often, and at night it's close to zero, if not zero. So we're
in our parlance, that's probably about in the 40s, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we're about in the 40s Fahrenheit.
Yeah. And we got AJ Popstar in there.
AJ, welcome.
Yes. Jay Violet emojis. If you're on my channel, drop them in the chat there. Appreciate you being. Just woke up, she says. That's right, because she's from the land down under. So for her, yes, that makes complete sense. Let's see what else we got here. Anybody? I'm just making sure I didn't miss nobody. Oh, wait, Mark's in the house. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
I think that's it. Did I miss somebody? I don't think so. All right. If I did, I apologize. I'll just wait, here we go. Loxity. Yeah, welcome. Hopefully I got that right. Welcome. So we're gonna get into the whole AWS thing and our tinfoil hat things with regard to that. But Jar, did you have some other stuff you wanted to kind of pepper out to the
I got one headline for sure that I want to share because I'm a little bit excited about this. I've been waiting for it for a while.
Okay.
And is this it? Yep. All right. So today is ETF day. So the Solana ETF, Litecoin ETF, Hedera went live. I believe it was Bitwise. Their Solana ETF opened up. Oh, it's over here. Over $223 million. So that's a strong signal. Really happy about this. I am a Solana fanboy. Part-time until I take my profit, then I'll be off that. But I'm happy that the ETF is out there, and hopefully this brings in some positive sentiment, and we can see this Solana price break 250, maybe get to 300 at some point. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll see how it goes. What's your opinion on this? Because I think a lot of people have been waiting for this. There was a lot of talk about it at the beginning of the year. It's finally came to fruition.
Well, I'll let our guest go first, and then I'll give you my 2 cents.
Sure.
Go ahead, BC.
So before they had changed the rules on how these altcoins were going to get an ETF, I was pretty dang sure that none of these altcoins were going to get an ETF in time for them to see any kind of semblance of like an alt run.
Right.
So
right.
once they change those rules, I said we're probably going to end up seeing a lot of these altcoin ETFs get approved extremely quickly.
Yep.
And anyone that has been, buying some of these alts that are on that ETF list, you're probably going to get a little bit of a pump. Not necessarily the biggest fan of a bunch of the assets that they chose, but for the people that have been in the alts, I think this is a great thing for them because they've been extremely battered down, depending on what alt you're in. And
right,
I'm happy that people are getting to make the money that they've been long waiting on. So I know several people that are big fans of HBAR that were extremely happy about this news.
Yep.
Yeah. So the submission to approval process, I believe it's shortened down to, I think it's 45 days now. It used to be something like 6 months or whatever it was. So that's quite a significant time period to drop it down. So that's a positive thing, especially if you're trying to gain on some sort of momentum in the market.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it used to be a very long, arduous process for this.
Right.
And so like the Solana ETF, its first ability to go live was supposed to be August this past year. And of course, it's the SEC, and they're like, you guys are going to have to fix your paperwork and, resubmit your applications, which restarts the process all over again. So you now have another 6-month window. And it's the same thing they did for Bitcoin. It's the same thing they did for Ethereum. And it was going to be a long process. And that's why I had that feeling that like you might not see the alt season this year, because the whole driver of a lot of the money, that retail money that comes into crypto now, is through ETFs. Because people got burned through FTX last time. They're not trying to go through that again. They're not trying to have some SBF that's like down there in whatever island that's popping Adderall and like slumming their money around to politicians.
Yeah. So you're pretty in tune with the market. Do you have a price prediction for all three by the end of the year? Like specifically Solana, because I'm more curious about that one, but where's your price prediction at for these three?
That's one thing that I don't do.
You don't do that?
Nope. Yeah. I will never do a price prediction on any asset, just because the way that the market works, it is incredibly hard to actually make any kind of semblance of an accurate prediction. Okay. I could bring up Solana and tell you like the next upside levels that I'd be looking for. So let me kind of
let's do that at least for Solana, if you don't mind, BC, because you know that'll make Jar happy. He's like I said, and I don't know if we got automatic beats hanging out here lurking, but
he might watch replay. He'll be
Amplifier Gaming, welcome.
Welcome.
Mark. Listen,
yes,
they're gonna dump and continue to, and there you go. I'm with you. I have HBAR. It's staking. It's whatever, you know what I mean, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
BT, let me know when you're ready, and I'll bring up your screen there, bud.
I'd have to share that chart specifically. I was sharing something else.
Oh, no worries. When you're ready.
There we go.
You got it. Here we go. Boom.
So this is going off of some fib extensions here. This is a daily chart here. So you can see the last time that we really saw resistance was up at that golden pocket, sitting at like almost 270. So that's my next kind of like upside target for Solana. Once we kind of break back into that like 220 range, once we can find some support in that area, I'd be looking for that like 270 range. And then the next upside target I'd really have above that would be sitting up at like 320.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it really just depends on how long this run goes. If you end up seeing some rotation of capital from your normal crypto people, and then how much capital starts inflowing on these ETFs. So you have that ability once you start finding support back at that 320 range to very, very quickly climb back up to that 270 range. Okay. So
All right.
You turn that into support, that next upside target's really, really up there in that
320. Yeah,
Mhm.
that looks pretty interesting.
Jar, you better put some sell orders in.
Yeah, I need to get out.
I would
Before the market. So
I would
Oh,
front
God.
out a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe shoot like the 300s instead.
I was kind of
see?
hoping it at least.
Here he
makes
is.
sense.
Automatic
beats. Thank you, sir. I knew you'd be here.
Oh man, that's funny.
I have that thing I always say, you know, sold to zero, but like I made my money off Solana, so like I like to. I just don't like centralization in crypto, which is
I
the only
understand that.
reason that
And
I
it's a really good
hop on
reason.
some projects.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with it. It's a really good reason. My reasons are very selfish. I need to just get my money out and hopefully not lose it. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, no, I totally understand it. But like I said, I sold off all of my alts back in like March of 24, and then I never looked back at them.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you use them for what they're meant to be used for, right? Make the money, rotate the capital. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jar, was there anything else you want to go over before we start going down this AWS rabbit hole?
No. But I think we can go right into that. And
okay.
That's all I had. So go ahead.
Well, honestly, I think everybody that's probably sitting here in the chat kind of knows what happened. Last Monday, we had an AWS outage, which, okay, fine. That happens from time to time, right? But it to me, beyond the fact that it was just a pain in the keister, because whether you were trying to live stream, go on YouTube, whatever the case may be, you were being constantly interrupted and or blocked from being able to do all that kind of stuff. And it was literally like one node in Virginia, I believe it was. I have to go back. My notes are not in front of me at the moment, of course, because that would make sense. But anyway, to me, the biggest piece, because we talk a lot about crypto here, was the fact that many of the blockchains, L2s especially, and wallets, dApps, were down because of the AWS server. And I don't know if you guys saw the video that I put out today promoting this stream, but it was like, man, the juxtapose of it, man, if you went down because of the AWS outage, you are not decentralized. Facts, prove me wrong. But anyway, did you guys experience anything crypto related with regard to the AWS outage?
For me, it was MetaMask. My MetaMask wasn't syncing, so I didn't even realize MetaMask was using AWS until you had actually told me that. So doing any transactions, just trying to sync my wallet, I noticed it crashing at least a dozen times. It did eventually sync by the end of the day, but I didn't look into it too much. And actually, I didn't put two and two together, literally until we had that conversation. I didn't realize that MetaMask was on AWS. So crypto related, that was one. And I run a ton of nodes. And often a shortcut to hosting a node is just to throw it up on AWS, or you host it on a VPS somewhere, right? So that's an easy shortcut. I do have a ton of them running behind me, especially when I'm experimenting and testing things out. I'll use a hosting service like that. So those nodes went down. And so that's where I saw my issues. What about you? Were you affected directly? Sorry.
No.
Yeah, no, I was going to BC. Yes.
Yeah. No. So very rarely do I end up like doing a whole lot crypto because I just buy Bitcoin. So I did get told that Coinbase had been affected by it. So I have my just auto buys that go in. So I was not personally affected except for like Snapchat, which is non-crypto related, but
yeah.
Robinhood was also down. Most of like the UK's banks were down too. So it's like it was affecting.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
was it American Airlines and somebody else like flights just that was that, you know?
Well, it's like nobody talks about it, but AWS handles 40% of the internet.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how it was a side project too, and it ballooned into what it is, right? Like it's insane how dominant it is. Yeah, and obviously Amazon went down because my wife was complaining about it. I thought there was something
my
wrong.
wife couldn't shop.
I'm like,
Oh, so that's how I started off my morning actually. So
Yeah.
like I have my like my Echo, and it's
Mhm.
my alarm clock, and then it has its little routine that it does when I like dismiss my alarm. It turns on my lights, and then it like tells me the price of Bitcoin and the price of Ethereum, and it'll read me a few news articles. So like an extra nerdy start to my day.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
my alarm wouldn't dismiss at all.
Oh,
Like it
wow.
just kept going and going and going.
Oh, that's
and
not
going.
good.
Yeah,
He's gonna
I had
unplug
to
it again.
unplug it. I had to unplug it.
Wow,
Nice.
Internet of Things being disconnected. You think about
It's
that. Yeah.
annoying things.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Trade Intuition in the house.
Intuition.
Appreciate
Joe.
you being here. And speaking, he's jumping in with us here. Restream uses AWS, and yeah, a lot of these streaming services use AWS, including StreamYard, which we're using right now. Luckily, like I said, Joe and I, when we went live that morning, we didn't have any issues, but yeah, Joe did have issues, which eventually went away right before his stream, thank goodness. So that gave him some opportunities there. And Techman just jumping on in. Welcome.
Techman Ty, welcome.
I got nodes.
I got different area codes. All right.
There you go.
He's diverse. All right.
You say StreamYard uses AWS. I looked into it. They only use it for a few specific features.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like
That's
a lot
good
of
to know.
it is done with other web services. So they have a few like specific features that are specifically with AWS. And I don't know if that's just like certain company that they paired with for it or something like that.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's also like it's a really big wake up call for the industry in general that's completely reliant just on AWS
Thank
to
you.
diversify the back end, right? Either have your own setup or at least have multiples and then clone it and you can automatically switch over, fail over to another service if it goes down. I don't know. It's poor planning if you're really reliant on just on one cloud service. So it's definitely a wake up call.
That one little half day of AWS not working cost a loss worldwide of almost $600 million.
Wow.
Companies unable to operate, the orders can't go through, all sorts of things. Money can't be moved around because banks were down during that whole UK session. So yeah, almost a $600 million lost day just because of internet services. And I did like a whole X post about it that day because I was following it quite heavily. And I really talked about the fact of how this was one of the bigger eye openers that we've had in our more modern times of why redundancy is so important.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's a fact.
Actually, for any network planning, redundancy is usually at the top of the list. Anytime you're mapping out a network, you want to have failover services, whether it's a network or a cloud service or whatever you're using. You usually don't have just one route that you're going to be covering everything. So that's why I was kind of disappointed in a lot of cases with all these services going down at once, that there was no disaster relief to sort of
disaster plan process.
It just was not implemented anywhere. So sad.
Yeah, and it was all because of like domain name issues. That's all it was a small domain name servicing was the whole issue why no one could log in. You couldn't operate any of your things. You couldn't send it like money around because you couldn't actually access the actual domain itself. The domain is there, but you're not able to do anything with the domain. So my whole takeaway at the end of my X post was if you run online services have a multi-region or multi-provider fallback plan. Don't rely exclusively on one region, which that was that big issue. That
multi-region is key. Yeah.
That East Coast is a heavy payload.
Yeah, it's a hub, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it handles not only here in the US, but also outside of the US.
Right.
And you got to monitor your actual experiences. You can't just like take them at their face value where it's like, yep, AWS is up. Because like they said that everything was fixed on AWS when their outages reporting was just starting to like hit its secondary high peak.
That's funny. I was live on Piper's and you said that in the chat. That was that was very telling. And Andy's in the house, and yes, it is a good debate, centralization versus decentralization. And again, to me, whatever, I get some, siloed businesses need the centralization. They need to be, reliant in that regard. But, I'm sorry, we shouldn't have any reliance, in my opinion, on that in this space, crypto space, my opinion.
Well, like at the end of the day, it's like, what if AWS or like, whoever's in charge of that little segment has a disagreement with a certain business. And they were like, you know what? Today, you get the middle finger and you don't get to operate. What are you going to do?
Yep.
Like, and this was like, I've heard a lot where it's like, if this was the test run. So how are people going to act if they can't use the internet? What are you going to do if you can't bank? What are you going to do? You're just going to shut your company down and send your people home? And like people were literally calling this like an end of the world type event.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, it kind of is.
We're so very, very reliant on connectivity to an extreme. Now, when you say test event, BC Corp, what are you indicating over here?
Is it break out the aluminum? Yeah.
So it's like there's several ways to kind of control things. And when you notice that your lack of control in certain areas, maybe media, is kind of faltering off, one direct key route of controlling things is people's access. And we saw that when they debanked people.
Yes.
Well, it's like you want to screw someone's life up, disconnect them from the rest of the world.
Right.
Yep. And we kind of saw what happens when you disconnect people from a majority of what they need to operate. So it'd be very easy for them to be like, yeah, it was a DNS error, when actually it's like, we just kind of wanted to see what would happen, how effective this bug is, a little bit of software that we throw here, so that we know that it'll work if we ever need to roll something out.
Right. Yeah, that is one of the conspiracy theories that is abounding out there. Yep.
I mean, like you said it yourself, where it's like, how reliant is everyone on the internet? Well, I don't know a single person that doesn't use the internet every single day of their life.
Yeah.
Yep.
And everything runs off the internet.
Yeah.
And if you're going to take things to that next level where like you don't even have physical money anymore, I don't use the internet as he's on the internet.
Yeah. As he's here, we appreciate you, K Diggity. Yeah.
But like, say that next rollout that they're pushing for, and we all know what it is. It's that digital dollar. What is this infrastructure going to run on? Is it going to be on crypto? Well, we already saw that there's a lot of crypto that actually uses AWS. Yes. And it'd be easier than trying to deal with a blockchain to shut people down. Well, like, you can't transact today. Well, here's this line of code. You can't transact today. This is shut down. This group of people that we know that uses this blockchain to move money around, they kind of got some thinking that we don't approve of, or this region has been a little out of line, so we're gonna shut that off today.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I live in Canada, so we've already seen that during
Mhm.
the COVID era, what actually can happen, what the government
Right.
actually has control of. So that was a peak of what could possibly happen when you centralize everything and the government has complete access to all your resources, which can get very, very scary. The one thing that sort of contradicts it is the pivot where AI and automation all moves to the cloud. So when you shut down a service, you could possibly affect those automations as well. So what's your thought on that when it comes to automation and robotics?
So I mean, it is the trend. I'm heavily invested in it.
Yeah.
I am a little bit worried about, the kind of dystopian effects that it's going to have on your everyday person. But at the same time, where it's like they do need to figure out where it's like if something does go wrong, how do you just shut that all down? So that's another aspect where you would need to know where it's like, how do we shut this all down without physically getting in there and trying to deal with things? Well, we just put this line of code in there and none of those things work anymore if they're all running off of AWS.
Yeah.
Which is
Whoa.
highly likely because you see Amazon and what it's doing. Amazon's trying to go full automation. Well, what
Right.
happens if something goes wrong and they need to shut it all down? Well, we have this line of code and we can shut it all down. This was more of a broad like shutdown, which isn't kind of what they would want in a situation like that. But if the line of code works well enough that you can shut down 70% of whatever that general thing is, that's pretty much effective enough.
Yeah, and then you optimize, right? You have lots of time to optimize. Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe you want to shout this guy out. I'm thinking it's on your channel, Jar. I can't see your channel. So
thank you very much, sir. That was absolutely generous. Keep up the great work on the channel. I appreciate that. I'm assuming you're talking related to the Solana Seeker updates that I've been posting out. I've been getting a lot of pushback. You know what's interesting is I was bringing up a lot of the issues that I had, and I was trying to jump on their Discord and ask questions. The only thing I had said is hello friends in the general chat. And then I left. I was logging some of the questions that people had related to the Seeker wallet. And then it came back and I was booted out. So, and I can't get back in. So I guess they banned me. And it looks like a few other Twitter accounts have banned me as well. But I don't really think what I was saying was too extreme. I'm just pointing out some problems, and it seems to have some negative feedback right now. But I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's sad. It's like, you know what? You got an issue with your project. Address the issue, man. Don't be like slapping people around for pointing out the flipping obvious. But what do I know? Let's see. He's saying it found you through Seeker content.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Kevin, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Excellent. Did you want to take a look as we kind of, I see people in the comments also putting on some of their best conspiracy theories. I can try and bring up my screen. I had a problem with it yesterday. Let's see if today I might be able to do it. Dang it. Hang on. Hang tight. Let's try this. And then this. It never works when it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't. Aha! I think I got it. Here we go.
I was going to say Techman had a great comment.
What was Techman's comment? Okay.
So the government put something in between the backbone to monitor and boinked the DNS table. And for me, I was saying it's more Amazon, which is like a big part of the reason that I was never a fan when they were trying to say, oh, the internet, everyone needs it, so we should make this like a public utility. And then that does give the government the ability to go in there, and instead of it being like Bezos, he's like, well, I don't like that company, so we're just not going to let you operate on the internet. It'd be the government where it's like, you're a degenerate and you're against us, so you don't get internet today. which is like China like policy type stuff where it's like your social credit score isn't good enough. Yank.
Yep. You can't get on the train today. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hold on, let me do that. Here are some of I went to, you guys know, especially if you follow me, you know I love NSAI. So I went to NSAI and I did a bunch of things. I made it give me a whole breakdown timeline kind of thing, all that kind of stuff. And then I asked it, okay, give me the top conspiracy theories
Yes.
that are,
All right.
yeah, you know, with regard to the AWS outage. So here are the ones that it came up with, and we can zip through them real quick. Brain drain and AI replacement, which is basically what we were just saying right there with putting that in. This theory proposes that a sudden reliance on AI critical operations may have contributed to the outage. Speculation that is that Amazon forced return to office policy post-pandemic, blah 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 blah. They basically did it. They did it. The next thing is the international disruption for competitive advantage. Some users have hypothesized that the outage was internationally caused by AWS to disrupt competitors who rely heavily on their services. This theory suggests that by taking down a significant portion of the internet, AWS would gain an advantage by offering more robust service post outage. A security breach or hack. I haven't heard too much about this one personally.
Yeah.
But I mean, that kind of makes sense. I don't need to really read that. Internal sabotage. This kind of almost plays into that first one a little bit right there.
Yeah.
You know, and is that possible? Sure. Honestly, I think that might have more plausibility than the previous one, which is a security breach or hack, my opinion. Let's see. Single point of failure exploitation. And causing cascade effects, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how I feel about that one. Natural or man-made? No, come on.
Natural disaster or man-made, that one doesn't really fit into
it doesn't even, right. So I'm guessing, you know.
Well, they said cyber attack on
I did see that.
So, okay.
But, I mean, I don't think so.
But you would, on something like that, you would need like physical entry because of like their security feature. You would need like a direct plug-in to their facility to end up doing something like that because of the kind of security that they have.
Yeah, because you keep hearing about China having an in with the U.S. power grid, right, and a possible attack in that method. But yeah, I'm wondering how they'd pull that off, and why would it just be AWS?
Right. Yeah. Right. Although AWS, obviously critical infrastructure right there.
Right.
Economic manipulation. This theory proposes that by disrupting significant portions of the internet, AWS could influence markets, stock prices, geopolitical events, et cetera, and without reading through that whole thing, that's pretty much the juxtapose of the top ones it gave me. What do you guys think? Any of those really possible or plausible to what actually happened?
For me, we kind of touched on the ones I was thinking of. BC, what about you? Did we see anything new? Or
no, but I think some of those could easily be all tied in together to be one thing.
Yeah,
it's like economic manipulation, very, very plausible as a single entity that's trying to do its own test where it's like, what kind of effect can we have? And also cause that more where it's like, well, here's the solution to the problem that we just showed you, which is actually going to have that system built into it instead of it being like, oh, well, you know, here's this old antiquated system. Well, now the code's just built into it. So if we want to click you off and kind of like disrupt it all, it's very, very easy without having to disrupt everyone else.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Because it's all about power. Like the money's just like a side benefit. What kind of power do we have? And like that's kind of what you're looking at. You don't branch into all these other things simply for the money when you're at a certain level of like a wealth. It's like, well, I was already one of the wealthiest people in the world. Am I trying to be wealthier? No, he wants more power. So let's operate the internet. Let's have full automation. Like, he's getting into nuclear. He's like literally building nuclear power plants so that he can be segmented away from all the other like power demands. And he's not like he doesn't have that ability where like the government's like, well, or another company is like, well, you don't get your power needs today because your power's consumption is too high and we got to prioritize it to this. So like, it's all about power.
Yeah.
So let me ask this. Do you guys believe that there was some kind of intentionality to this event?
Yes. That we're yet
I
to
do. I do.
Oh, you really do believe that, eh?
Yes, I do.
There
you go.
Don't often watch massive things like this happen without there being some sort of intentionality behind it. You're going to tell me that like it was like literally almost 80% of the server capacity on the Northeast, which operates at most of the United States, went down because of all of them went down because of DNS.
Right.
And it wasn't like there wasn't some sort of manufactured intent out of this. Yeah. You didn't see the stock market really get hit that much out of it or anything like that. But like, watch what happens as time goes on of what's coming out of AWS.
Yep. Exactly. And like Kevin said, basically follow the money, man. Follow the money. So like you were saying earlier, man,
the tried process, always follow the money. You find out who benefited.
Yeah. I like trade intuition right here. Conspiracy theory equals Trump wanted to buy stock in AWS.
And I'd have believed it if AWS, if Amazon stock had actually, faltered any. They took like zero hit off of it.
Really?
Yeah,
there was very little. Yeah. Oh, surprisingly little. Yeah.
I need to look that up because I'm actually shocked that they barely.
And Kevin saying, but these big tech companies have teams working nonstop, attack, hack, crash. Exactly.
No.
And Bedell just kind of jumped on in here. Welcome, Bedell. Appreciate you being here.
Wow, almost no impact. Let me pull this up.
Yep.
That's surprising. I actually never even looked at that. And let me pull it up here. Here's a chart. This is a 1 month chart that I'm looking at right now. If anything, it eventually went up after it. So up and to the right. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Like I was saying, it's like, like, what are you going to do? Like, are you really going to like dump the biggest stock because like AWS went down? No, you're not. Like, the only dump that they really saw was in line with the rest of the market. And they weren't like, they might have had a little bit of a sell-off, but it wasn't anything crazy.
No, it definitely wasn't. Nothing significant anyways. Yeah.
Right.
Considering its impact, you were talking about almost $500 million, right? In the core hours that it went down. That's a significant impact. And
over $500 million.
Over $500 million. That's significant.
Yeah. And that's why I'm saying that economic theory is highly plausible. Where it's like, what kind of disruption can we do to show you where else should you be instead of trusting all of these single sourced entities that rely on us anyway?
Yeah.
You can just rely on us. Come here. Bezos will take care of your needs.
Oh man.
Like Amazon was affected, but it wasn't affected like everything else was.
No,
like
not overall.
Their IoTs were, but like I was still able to turn on my lights and all of that, so that wasn't affected. But like I was still able to go on the Amazon website and things like that. So like, what it just kind of shows you like what actually got hit and what didn't get hit.
And Band-Aid, welcome, by the way. What do you guys think about this question or this statement?
Just incompetence. That's what I was wondering as well. But the impact and the amount of resources that it hit, I'm starting to question it. But we've seen these issues before, at least over here. We've seen this happen with the telecom industry, where a fiber line gets cut and half the country goes down. Like that happened last year, I believe. And it's a major fiber line that fed Ontario and Quebec, and all major telecom services went completely dark. And that was a failure. And now they're trying to build in redundancy, but things like that do happen. I think it was an accident too. Yeah. So,
and Wick's wife in the house. I like that. There you go. I've arrived. You can start from the beginning now.
Yeah. Rewind.
It's just kind of hard to think that a company that operates at the efficiency of Amazon.
Yeah.
And you've never really seen any problems from them in any kind of semblance like this, to have incompetence, where you have the best minds in the world behind the building of these things, the redundancies that they've built in. You don't think that they have triple redundancies on these cloud servers?
Yeah, you're building a really good case, because Amazon, if anything, is probably one of the most efficient companies out there. If anything, other companies are relying to learn from Amazon's efficiencies when it comes to warehouses and the way they're doing the deliveries and optimization of their websites. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, and so I've got people that do like big stuff in like crypto and have worked in like that have seen like the data centers to kind of, they wanted to make a little bit of extra money with mining and stuff like that. And the redundancies that these kind of companies have on data centers, you're talking triple sources of power, triple sources of internet.
Yep.
The security, it is like I was saying, you would actually need to physically be there in the building and plug it in yourself to the server.
Multi-layered, absolutely. Yeah, in every level.
They're shelled from each other. That's why you can't like really attack one website and it affects another website. So like they have crazy security, crazy redundancies, and you're going to tell me that one thing is going to affect 70% of the internet, when I know how these things are built? They're shelled off from each other, and like the outputs are separate, your input separate. Like none of that adds up.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? The way I'm looking at it right now might be the way a lot of people are somewhat looking at it, is this was a blip on the internet. It happened for a few hours. Everything's back to normal. We can continue with our lives, and they forget about it. I didn't even do any deep dive into it, and I don't know. Basically, the points that you bring up are completely valid, making me question it a lot more. But I'm wondering if, totally possible that this could have been planned.
I don't know, but I'm with you. I think they want us to forget about it. That's the thing.
We live in a 24-hour cycle, right? Where this
I was about to say,
now.
Let's be honest, that's what happens anyway. News comes out, and within 72 hours, you've forgotten all about it. You know what I mean? Unless somebody
go back to Netflix, right? So
yeah, right.
Like we're good. We're back online. All right.
The funny thing is, like, even Netflix was affected, because Netflix uses AWS.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. Like, you couldn't go back to Netflix, but I guess we'll watch Hulu.
Hulu, what's that? Yeah. Andrew Cameron.
Andrew, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Oh man, that's funny. What's K Diggity saying? Yeah, it honestly didn't really bother me. Some streams were having issues, and and see, that's the thing. For a lot of people, it was very uneventful, a non-event, and but enough that it made the news, all this kind of thing, and they, in my opinion, got to do whatever it was they were looking to do in the back end of things. And this is gonna be one of those things that comes back to haunt us, in my humble opinion. Battle Juice, welcome.
people don't really think about it, but like when you're talking about the East Coast area,
Yeah.
you're talking about that half population of the United States.
Right.
Because that midline of where our population is heavily skewed towards our East Coast.
Very concentrated.
And so it affected all of that. And so over half the population of the United States was affected, as well as companies outside of the US and things like that who are sourced inside of here.
Resetting our operating system.
Yeah.
Wow.
I believe it. Let's just put it this way. We've seen so much since 2020, especially. It's just been out there. Hell, they don't even try to hide it half the time anymore. You know what I'm saying? So
it's
why
an ongoing experiment?
Right.
You're throwing something new out there. Yeah.
Put the pieces in place to try and just have it ready. I believe it. I'm sorry.
Well, it's like, and that's why they can. That's the thing. It's like that's why they can get away with doing something massive like that. There's like, who's talking about it now? No one. It was boop. It news for like 6 hours, and then everyone moved on.
Yeah,
like, they don't really care. They're like, oh well, well, I have my internet back. I can send my Snapchat.
Yeah, and I was sort of talking to CCM about this last week, and just that whole 24-hour news cycle has basically been manufactured over time as well, and it's built with intent. So when instances like this happen, they can freely expose themselves, knowing that people are going to forget within 24 hours. So you can do these open, transparent events, tell people what's actually going to happen, then actually do it. And then within 24 hours, pretty much everyone's forgotten about it and they're moving on with their lives. And the worst part about it is this is how some of those laws are being implemented as well. Because we had some really aggressive laws over here in Canada, especially with social media, where they announced it. And there was pushback. There's a lot of people fighting with it. And you just let it fizzle off. And then you actually implement it quietly. And then it's not like they didn't tell you. It's there now. And now it just has to be enforced. And once it's enforced, it's too late because it's now a rule and police actions and everything else can be taken.
Look at the EU. You know, look what's going on over there.
Right? That's we're sort of mimicking. We're part of the Commonwealth, so we're sort of mimicking what Great Britain does, and their rules and implementations that happen over there can easily start happening over here. And lo and behold, like Mark Carney is echoing a lot of the exact same sentiment. So we'll see exactly how that happens.
Well, let me ask this. Assuming that we are correct in our conspiracy theory that, something was done in the backside, something was otherwise done purposefully, how do we counter that is the question.
Crypto.
Well, I don't disagree. I agree. But like, okay, what?
So we're talking about quite a few different services then, right? We're not just talking about one thing here. So we're talking about different types of infrastructure when it comes to payment processing, when it comes to power, and when it comes to food and everything else and energy. Like there are multiple different channels that we'd have to look into to be independent of an outage like this. So I don't know, it gets a little bit tricky, don't you think?
Yes.
Well, it's like we've already got some services in crypto that would be more than ready to step up and take some of that burden, you know, where there's one that AWS talks about all the time that they've got a phone service. Like right now it relies on some of the other towers, but you get to more remote areas and like they've got their own towers. So you don't have to rely on these other ones. It's decentralized and someone is running a node that ends up being a broadcasting service. And it has like the cheap one has like 1.5 mile reach.
Right.
And so very, very quickly you can have these paired with depend projects for your storage to move things around in. Like we don't need centralized entities running it. We just have to get people to that point where it's like, you know what? Screw AWS. And I don't think a lot of people are ready to really vote with their dollar like that. Where it's like, we depend on Google. Well, do you really need Google like that? Like they spy on you and they sell all your data. They have your social security number. What more do you want them to have?
Yeah. When it comes to DeepIn, I'm a huge fan of DeepIn. I'm in tons of DeepIn projects. And a lot of the ideas are really good, but they're still dependent on the internet. So regardless of what you're decentralizing, whether it's going to be communication, a wireless service, or whatever, weather services, they're still reporting back on a centralized network in some way, right? So that's going to be hard to break apart of.
Well, and that's where what you need, like what I was talking. What is he talked about it on our show, hot of the line.
Yeah,
what was that project?
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember. Give me a second. I'll see if I can't look it up real quick while you're.
It would literally be able to have that where it's like, okay, instead of communicating on your like AWS type internet or Google and all of that, you're now communicating on a different one, but like you'd have to start moving everything over.
Right.
So it's like very, very, it would start slow where it's like the internet over here is very, very small.
Yeah.
But it could grow extremely quickly as people realize, well, it's like, you don't have to say no to cookies because there's no cookies. It's decentralized. There are no tracking because it's crypto.
Yeah. Like a mesh network or a mesh web would be interesting, because then you're not reliant on a fiber-based network. There was a few communications, right? There was a few communication services that have been popping up where they're using Bluetooth and other forms of radio frequencies to transmit. So transmission bandwidth would probably be the biggest factor, like that hurdle, and trying to find a channel that you could broadcast with enough bandwidth, I think would be the biggest problem there. But it's definitely possible. Implementing it and then getting it to get grassroots to catch on and to grow is a whole other thing as well. So you need a huge community to start driving something like that. Yeah.
So it's called World Mobile.
Out there, it was on the tip.
World
Thank
Mobile?
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like it's that kind of. It'd be that kind of thing. They've literally got drones that fly at like the highest level of our atmosphere and would project the internet down from like satellites.
Is this what we're talking? Is this it?
Yep. So like they've just really started building out, where instead of just being like we're reliant on other towers, we are now building our own network, and it is going to be nodes that people power, and they're trying to work with, they're trying to get like people in more remote areas like farmers and stuff like that to like run these nodes, where like that's the node and it'll end up broadcasting cell service. But technology could very, very easily be modified to do a different kind of signal. Whereas like all you really need is that kind of base right there, do the same thing. You build up the same kind of mesh network that the phone towers do. And like we won't need that. You don't have a single point of failure. You can spread things out to all sorts of DeepIn projects.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this. I haven't actually looked into it.
Yeah. I follow tech in the crypto space. I just don't invest in it.
Got it.
Well, and it was something that wasn't even available for like U.S. residents. I don't know about Canadian residents when it first came out. Anyway, you had to be what do they call it? Accredited investor to even be.
But it is now running live.
Yeah, and now you can Americans can get access to it. So.
Yeah, so like that's their cheapest node there.
Yeah, $60. That's not bad.
Yeah, and it broadcasts a cell signal up to 1.5 miles. Is what
this broadcasts a cell signal?
Yeah. So and then they have the bigger ones where like that Titan there. I think it had like a 10-mile range or something. It's extremely powerful and things like that. So.
Yeah, $100,000. Yeah. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna look into this. I didn't. It's been a while since I looked into World Mobile. Nice.
All right. I just found the actual episode. I'm going to put the link that the episode that BC was referring to. That was Hot of the Line episode with Ada Ace, who kind of laid it all out. I'm putting it into the live chat now, so you guys all can go back and visit that if you want.
Awesome.
Wow.
I was just taking a look at this. We do a list of your deep in projects. Yes. So I've been compiling a list and updating my website. I'm going to actually probably, a lot of them are offline. They're behind me right now. So I need to start bringing these back on. And one of the projects that I was heavily involved in was called Fried Networks. And that one went down pretty badly. But I'm going to be doing a live AMA tomorrow at 6 o'clock with the founder of the project, because they're trying to bring the project back. They have monetization figured out. They actually have that's going to be buying the data right now. So that's something that's very interesting. And I'll be jumping into deep in projects again and delivering some more content. So you can look forward to that. And that's actually something I'm working on right now. We might be BFF soon. There you go.
Yeah. Nerds unite, you know?
Nerds unite. There you go. Nerds of the world unite. Oh, man. Well, is there anything else you guys wanted to put out about this whole AWS thing before we start wrapping this up? We're over an hour already.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's been a good conversation. I know.
I've been thinking quite a bit because I didn't put too much thought into it. And like we started this conversation off about critical thinking, and that's really what it comes down to. It's about just taking the event and just looking at it through different lenses, which I'm now doing that with this because it's intriguing. And it does seem like there's a lot more behind it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a little bit because it's like I had to see a meme come out first. And then I was like, wait a second. Because I actually understand a lot of this technology and I know how these data centers are built. And like 2 + 2 = 4. And it's not what this number that they're giving me is.
Right, right.
So,
yeah. Challenging it. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the scientific method, right? Isn't it? I mean, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Just don't tell me to follow the science.
Yeah. Right. How about CCM? What do you got going on this week?
I nothing. I'm taking the rest of the week off.
Oh, break time. All right.
Yeah, don't I wish? Okay, so let's see. Tomorrow, Joe and I, speaking of Joe, thank you for the kind words. Much appreciated. We'll be live 11 a.m. tomorrow Eastern time for a midweek check-in on the market. So that is awesome. Let's see. Thursday night, channel members only live stream. We're going to be talking about crypto inheritance. Get the link off of the community tab on YouTube and come on and join in. If you are watching this stream right now and will be watching that stream on Patreon, if you're a channel member, it'll pop right in. Same for Odyssey. And let's see, Friday night, Crypto on the Rocks, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You know the drill. And I've got a bunch of videos dropping in between there as well.
Good stuff.
What about you guys?
BC, how about you?
Well, this weekend I'll be doing a episode of building off of last week's episode on Counter This. We did a episode on building personal connections. And this week's will be with the Billy Goat Tales team, and we'll be talking about community building so that the week afterwards we can do the next step after you've built like a community. What do you do with the community? So how do you make change and things like that in the world around you? Other than that, I will be having my normal live streams every single morning on Piper Academy, Good Morning Crypto. I go live at 6:45 Eastern time, bright and early. Yeah, we get that pre-market going. And
prime it.
Oh yeah. Well, I trade London, and I'm over here in America. So I'm waking up early. So.
Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Basically overnight, the way I see it. That's bright and early. And for me, I'm going to be talking about. I got my AMA tomorrow, which is going to be with Fry Networks.
Oh,
I laid off Fry Networks for a while, just because look at the chart; it was plummeting. They hold data in a whole bunch of different spectrums, but they weren't selling it, so it's not really worth anything. A lot of my miners went offline when I moved. I didn't bring them back online, and I'm slowly starting to bring miners on. That makes sense. So this is a lot of people that are frustrated with Fry Networks definitely come on and vent. Because he's here to answer the hard questions. And I'm going to be pushing him a bit too, because I really want to know what the plans are going forward. And with the version 2 of the Fry token, it was segmented so much, it didn't really make sense. So I really want to understand what the utility is behind that. And if there's any way to reverse it, because I think he went too extreme. So I'm looking for some answers. And we'll see where it goes. We'll see where that conversation goes. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'd forgotten all about that. That's awesome. And obviously, you must have much more information coming on the Solana phone, the Seeker. I mean, everything. You got the man is like constantly grinding stuff out.
Just take after you. Yeah, just keep going at it. Right. Just keep going at it.
I try. I do want to add one other thing, and thank you, BC, because I know you weren't trying, but you did remind me. Tonight, 8 p.m. So in about
Billy
50 minutes, not quite an hour. Billy Goat Tales gonna be. Whoops! I hit the wrong damn button. Billy Goat Tales X Space 8 p.m. Eastern time. I just put the link in all the chats. Please go ahead and show them a little bit of support. It usually lasts about 2 hours, and you can listen in there. And it's great because this plays in very much, in my opinion, or should play in very much to what BC's got going on Saturday on his Counter This channel. So again, I just put that link into the description. Please go ahead and check that out. And that's Excellent. It. That's what I got, man.
Matrix Money Tuesday. BC PortCorp, thank you very much for joining us. Yes. Great discussion. Really appreciate your time.
I'm glad you invited me on. I hope to see you guys on another episode.
We'll definitely have you on.
I think we can give them an open invitation. I'm just guessing.
The next outage.
The next.
I will be there.
Oh my God. All right. Have a good night, everybody.